Okay, we're good. Apparently, you can dual stream now. So there's this is going off to a shorts feed as well as the main. I don't know. So I'm trying to figure that thing out right now. What's up, June? What's up, Nemo? Blues and patches, blues patches, blues patches. Go put the kids to bed. That's more important than this. But I am very excited for you to join us later. And Lana just got home. What's going on? What's up? What's up? What's up? I don't know how this. Yeah, me neither. I've never seen that happen. Wait, Danny's streaming right now? That's actually deadly. I did not know that. Hold on, I didn't even know that. Let me go on and check. Aren't so funny. I didn't know. No, hold on. Let me check this. Sometimes we're at the point in our friendship for YouTube where I just let him do whatever he wants. He was really nervous and tentative at first. He's like, should I post this? Should I do this? I'm like, Danny, do whatever you want. And I'm going to just jump in chat here. Hold on.
New minority.
Oh, that's sad. I'm not subscribed to my own channel. I have to wait 5 minutes before I can actually... Well, this account is. The Harry Potter one is, but not this one is. Not this one. Gosh. That's so funny. Did he just start? How long has he been gone? 50 minutes. Totally missed that. That's funny. I should restart the notification being posted in the server. Honestly, I should. Yeah, I don't want to. I feel like that was a little annoying. I don't like bots doing it. Sometimes I just want to do it manually. Maybe that'll be a thing that I'll tell Danny and me to do. And before we start a stream, just copy paste it and throw it into the Discord so people know. Let me do this for Danny. Give me a second. Yeah, just taking off everyone. Yeah, that's annoying. Let me pull on Discord real quick. Mordor. A live read. Ouch. Ouch, that one hurt. I know we could get real unorganized right now with everyone, all the streaming and everything that's going on. I'm gonna start reading in a few minutes, but I want to get 5 minutes up because I want to message Danny on the Game of Thrones account and just say hi. Just say hi real quick. And this one's just chill. It's just us. It's just us girls. We got 4 people on this. Danny's got 54. I'm gonna steal some of his people. No. Although, Nemo, and June, and Alana, and Blues if you're here, and whoever else is here. Never mind. I have so many. I feel like I'm so indecisive about things sometimes. Or like I'll make a decision and I just kind of screw myself over with the decision later on. I was thinking of pushing every stream that we do to Twitch. We don't have any audience on Twitch, so that would suck. We'd have to build some kind of people over there, and people are used to it. I was telling you this before, Nemo. I think I was telling you this before too, June. The idea of like the copyright issues, I don't want to run into those. I'd rather protect the YouTube channels. I think we could still do it, to be honest. I think I am kind of under fair use, but it would kind of be fun if it would kind of be fun if that channel that we had, the first time readers channel, was just literally like either me or Danny, like every day we just stream on that. Like maybe one time, maybe like Danny gets into some crossword action or something like that. And like the stream is happening all over the place. There could be a night stream, there could be a day stream, there could be a morning stream of a crossword, there could be an afternoon stream of Danny reading, there could be a night stream of me reading, there could be like, it could go all over the place. So I'm kind of debating doing it all on Twitch. The only issue would be scheduling. Like right now, me and Danny are both streaming together and we couldn't do that. I actually don't know. I feel like I've lost my pulse on that to some extent. So the issue that we have with the Lord of the Rings community is the average age isn't super high on that channel. Stream games, I know. I would love to actually do that. That'd be so fun. Danny would probably dig that too. I think he would really like that game. Our average age for Lord of the Rings viewers and commenters and people who are actually on that is a little bit higher. And not that they wouldn't necessarily know Twitch. They'd probably be able to know it and figure it out. But Twitch is definitely a little bit younger. And I don't know the current state of Twitch. Yeah, I don't really have that much of a preference either. And I kind of agree that the audience will get kind of used to it. I think I'm going to stick with we'll probably finish the Lord of the Rings on YouTube. And then I might start pushing some stuff over. I might do my Hobbit read on Twitch. Or like maybe I'll do a Lord of the Rings reread on Twitch. And just do it fast. So I'm just debating. These are all the debates that go on in my mind every day. What the heck do I do in any given scenario? Man, yeah. I need more time in the day. That's what I need. I need like another 10 hours every day. And then I'll be great. And then I'll be happy. Just give me a second. I'm gonna start the read. Okay, sweet. Hold on, I get to chat with Danny. You were doing it live. Demo, come on. I should donate again to him. Nandela, what's going on? Yeah, it is a little bit confusing. Hold on, I gotta see if Danny says anything.
I hope I didn't interrupt another live. This was a very last minute one. On Game of Thrones, cool. Haven't seen anything from that channel yet. Haven't gone to check it out really. Yeah, so pretty last minute.
Black Eyed Lily, what's going on?
Good. Yeah, I wanted to get to the end of book 5 because it's too exciting to stop.
I believe the Tolkien professor streams on both YouTube and Twitch for his weekly Exploring Lord of the Rings episode.
Yeah, you're right,
sorry.
Oakley. That's a weird point too. It said...
Probably getting Danny's. You've never seen Danny so up close before? Danny, I gotta tell Danny to do maybe I'll go on the back end and make his a short thing too. Actually, no, I'll let him do what he wants to do. Nemo, please. It's kind of fun, honestly. We should, guys. I think this is what we should do. We should have a shared account where we stream a crossword, and everyone has a different day. You know how fun that would be? You know how freaking fun that would be? And anybody could stream anything they want at any given time on that. But it has to be a crossword. I think that'd be kind of fun. The Tolkien professor. So I think I could do both Twitch and YouTube if for non-live reads. Yeah, you can do yours in Swedish. I'll allow it. For things that aren't for like Marginalia, I could probably do that for sure. The only issue with Marginalia is that's members, so it has to stay members. And then Wes, you're a thirsty pup. I gave Wes a little peanut butter bowl, and he's thirsty. He always gets thirsty after he downs some water. But like, we have we haven't given up the podcast. Let me, just a quick personal note on some of where the podcast actually went. I think we have to drop it. Jen is obviously doing great. She has the baby. She's definitely not going to pick up reading again. She might just do it in her own time, but I don't want to pressure her into doing this podcast. And then Lizzie had a death in the family, and she's really struggling to pick up the book again because of a video that I talked about. She watched it where I came back from a funeral and I talked about that line, and she's like, I'm just kind of like in paralysis right now for picking it up because I don't necessarily know if I want to like encounter those moments again. She loves the book, but she's like a little bit, she's trying to figure it out right now. So I think we might just abandon we might just abandon the podcast. And then when we finish Lord of the Rings, me and Danny and Lizzie too, I think we'll all do something else, but I don't know what that is yet. So at the moment, the podcast might just be gone, nixed. And yeah, more people are preferring the videos anyway. I still think the podcast is just fun. And I'm still looking for other people to do the Harry Potter thing because I would love to revamp that and find some other people who can do like a first time read of Harry Potter. And I want to build the actual Harry Potter channel around that more. But that's just going to... I haven't like found... There's like people who are kind of reading it, but no one's like committed. So I'm trying to figure all that kind of stuff out. Again, I need more hours in the day. Yeah, exactly. She's going to just do what she needs. So she's off doing her thing. She's like one of my best friends. So I'm just letting her do whatever she needs to do. Although I did get her a pin for Christmas. That is a Phial of Gladriel. So it can be a light to her when all their lights go out. But don't tell her that because it's supposed to be a surprise. Which isn't that much of a surprise because it's a little pin. But anyway. You know it ain't the stallion. You know what song I have stuck in my head? Where there's a whip, there's a way. I don't know the rest of the song. Or I do. I have some of it stuck in my head, but I can't like figure out the rest of the lyrics. Dun, 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 dun. It's a banger. The song is a banger. All right. Anyway, we're gonna start a little bit of a what's this book called? A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms read. That's all my intro is. It is an amazing song. Wes, don't get yippy. No. Man is pride, no matter how lowborn he may be. You would seem just as lost and stupid in their villages. I did like that moment. I gotta make a video about this moment too. All right. I'm on page 1. What did I get to? I had a bookmark in it, but I took the bookmark out to go look at something today, and I didn't put it back in. So I'm an idiot. There we go. 152. Yeah, Nandela, will you join the book club already? You're not sure if you read this already. You think you have? You don't remember? Damn it! You do need a password. No, Nemo just needs to let you into the Discord group. Oh, or answer. Honestly, you should make your answer a riddle. That would be probably the best way forward. All right, suckers. I am just gonna sit and read probably another 40-ish pages. It's pure blood. If it's pure blood, I'm banning all of you guys from our server. All right. How's volume? Volume good? Me. It's a little low. No? I think we're good. All right, I gotta find a good breaking point. Ooh, pictures. There's a foxy lady with a bow in one of these pictures. All right. That's enough slices. Probably read to another 40 pages to like 192. It looks like a break right there. We're going to do it unless it's really captivating and we might read the whole thing, which I doubt because that'll take a long time. All right, suckers. Hey, what's up? Dragon. Yeah, same time. I know. I feel like Danny's is the better one right now, to be honest. He's going through Lord of the Rings. It's more entertaining. I'm just going through like a side novella for George. For George or Merton. I wasn't crying, not yet. Does it look like I'm crying? No tears yet for this book. Although it's good. I like his writing. I actually really like his writing. I think he's a better writer than Sanderson. His sentence structure varies a little bit better. His battle scene writing is a lot better than Sanderson's, I think. He does kind of the same stuff as like Sanderson of like putting small little hints in there about your characters. But all in all, I like him a little bit better than Sanderson right now. But I haven't read that much of Sanderson, and I haven't read that much of George, to be completely honest. So, we're gonna start. He's a lot better than Sanderson. Okay, good to know. Nandela, you saying that you didn't like Stormlight Archive? It makes me nervous right now. 4-step analysis process for books. In that metric, Martin beats Sanderson in like 3 of them. Interesting. Nemo, I would love for you to make a video on that. Tell me what your 4-step analysis process is. I actually love that. Yeah, it does finish books. I saw this hilarious. I don't know. Who was I telling? I was telling my friend this. There's a hilarious on the shorts, on a short feed. There was a Brandon Sanderson was giving an update, and he like signs things when he does updates. So he was doing this. He was signing something, and then his hand was going off screen. I think I might have told the story before. His hand was going off screen, and then he would come back and sign it and take the paper and put it off screen, and then take it and put it off screen, and he would just keep doing that. And then the top comment on that, which made me crack up, was, "You guys don't notice, but every single time Sanderson's hand goes off screen, he finishes one of his novels." And I was like, that is the most true statement I have ever heard in my life. Ooh, plot, characters, setting, and prose. I'm gonna guess you think the setting is better for Sanderson's. I've been doing that a little bit on Goodreads, and I've been listening to more audiobooks, which is fun. But I've been doing, what have I been doing? Let's look. And then I'm going to start reading, because this might be a long read. How do I even get to my reviews? Reviews. Recent reads, Andy Weir. I've been doing, where the heck do I get, oh, here we go. I've been doing plot, writing, characters, reader, and ending. But I kind of like setting too. Throwing setting in there is kind of fun. Mistborn is a bit basic. Interesting. Lana and her Sanderson hate. I thought he was just a good, like a fun storyteller. You don't put ending on that high of a pedestal. I do, because you have to be able to land. Anybody can take off. That's not true. But you have to be able to land a story. And it doesn't have to be like a satisfying ending. Like Sanderson's ending was great. All three of the Mistborn novels, the ending for those were really fun, I thought, and good. They were good. Like the ending for, I finished Project Hail Mary. Didn't love it that much. It was good. I thought it was like just an entertaining book, like purely entertaining. But the ending I thought was actually really good. It was really sweet. It was a little predictable, but I kind of liked it. Still was good. When do you woke up and felt you were done? Honestly, that sometimes feels like it fits for some authors. Project Hail Mary is trash. Dang. It's not really particularly well written, but it's entertaining. It's just an entertaining book. He's writing a movie script. He's not writing like a well-written book. And sometimes I respect that in an author. To me, that was like Ready Player One. Ready Player One was not a great book, but it was entertaining, and I liked that. Sometimes I just like a good entertaining book, you know what I mean? Also, you know what YouTube needs? YouTube needs a stream raid. You can do that on YouTube, right? But it's some back-end way to do things. You read a worse book than Project Hail Mary? I thought Project Hail Mary was much, much better than The Martian. The Martian, I was just so bored of. Although it was a great movie. Great movie. And then I tried to get into Armada and I could not. Now you need a certain number of subscribers, though. Interesting. How many subscribers do you need? That's weird. Is it like a / raid? Nope. Secret of Secrets. DNF'd. Sanderson tries to write for everyone. It kind of loses the original feel. Yeah, I actually kind of the cookie cutter feel, I think, is what gets me a little bit. I think maybe some of his other novels I'll maybe get out of that a little bit, but I kind of agree. Like Mistborn, I couldn't stand some of the battle scenes and the fight scenes because they were just long and drawn out, and they felt like action movies. And I'm like, I don't care. It was just, yeah, it's not fun. That's why I do think Rowling does battle scenes really well. She doesn't get like overly detailed, and obviously Tolkien does it like the best. All day, all day, all day. Where there's a whip, there's a way. I have had that song stuck in my head for a week. All right, I'm gonna start reading. If anybody wants to stay while I read, just go do something in the background and just hang out while I read. Imagine if I did a reading stream where I just read to myself and you guys just had to watch me. That'd be awful. All right. I haven't read anything from Stephen King, actually. Ryan really wants me to read something from Stephen King, but I don't know how much I think he's a great author. I mean, I can't really say that because I haven't really read much, but I've read bits and pieces, and he's a good, entertaining storyteller. He's a good writer. He's, to me, like on par with Sanderson. Like, they're much better than anything I could do. But I don't know. I got to read them and discover. Read and find out. I got a Raffo. All All right. Anyway, I'm gonna start reading. I know. Honestly, I probably would start scratching my butt. The one thing you read on Ryan's behest was a 6.5 out of 10. Interesting. Nemo, what's your average rating for a book? Is that high or low? I'm getting too sucked into chat right now. I've got to start reading. Let's see how Danny's doing, and then I'm gonna start reading. All right, now we're gonna start reading. Let me just set everything up here. All right, you guys still chat about books, and I'm just gonna read, and you guys can enjoy the sultry sound of my voice, which isn't that sultry, but there's a sound to it. There were red mountains in the distance, and white sand. Gosh, I can't even read the first sentence of this. This is sad. There were red mountains in the distance, and white sands beneath his feet. Dunk was digging, plunging a spade into the hot, dry earth, and flinging the fine sand back over his shoulder. He was making a hole. A grave, he thought, a grave for hope. A trio of Dornish knights stood watching, making mock of him in quiet voices. Farther off, the merchants waited with their mules and wains and sand sledges. They wanted to be off, but he could not leave until he'd buried Chestnut. Excuse me? Huh? How did am I losing my mind? Why did Chestnut die? What? Dad, there was nothing. I just finished. I'm on page 151 of this. And he just went up to sleep. Okay. Oh, it's a dream sequence? Okay. I hope it is. I'm nervous. Also, I don't know. We'll see. Until he had buried Chestnut. He would not leave until his old friend. He would not leave his old friend to the snakes and scorpions and sand dogs. The Stott had died on the long, thirsty crossing between the Prince's Pass and Vaith, with egg upon his back. His front legs seemed to fold up under him, and he knelt right down, rolled onto his side, and died. Wait, this is real. And he knelt right down, rolled onto his side, and died. His carcass sprawled beside the hole. Already it was stiff. Soon it would begin to smell. Dunk was weeping as he dug, to the amusement of the Dornish knights. Water is precious in the waste, one said. You ought not to waste it, sir. The other chuckled and said, Why do you weep? It was only a horse, and a poor one. Chestnut, Dunk thought, digging. His name was Chestnut, and he bore me on his back for years and never buckled or bit. The old Stott had looked a sorry thing beside the sleek sand steeds that the Dornishmen were riding, with their elegant heads, long necks, and flowing manes, but he had given all he had to give. Weeping for a swayback Stott, Sir Arlen said, in his old man voice. Why, lad, you never wept for me. Who put you on his back? He gave a little laugh, to show he meant no harm by the reproach. That's Dunk the Lunk, thick as a castle wall. He shed no tears for me either, said Baelor Breakspear from the grave. Though I was his prince, the hope of Westeros. The gods never meant for me to die so young. Okay, so we're in a dream. Whew. My father was only 9 and 30, said Prince Valar. He had it in him to be a great king, the greatest since Aegon the Dragon. Wait, Prince Valar is dead? Greatest since Aegon the Dragon. He looked at Dunk with cool blue eyes. Why would the gods take him and leave you? Oh, maybe he's not dead. The young prince had his father's brown hair, but a streak of silver gold ran through it. You are dead. Dunk wanted to scream. You are all 3 dead. Why won't you leave me be? Oh, that's right. Valar is dead. Sir Arlen had died of a chill. Prince Baelor of the blow his brother had dealt him during Dunk's trial of the 7, his son Valar during the great spring sickness. I am not to blame for that. We were in Dorne. We never even knew. You are mad, the old man told him. We will dig no hole for you. When you kill yourself with this folly, in the deep sand, a man must hoard his water. Begone with you, Sir Duncan, Valar said. Begone. Egg helped him with the digging. The boy had no spade, only his hands, and sand flowed back into the grave as fast as they could fling it out. It was like trying to dig a hole in the sea. I have to keep digging, Dunk told himself, though his back and shoulders ached from the effort. I have to bury him deep where the sand dogs cannot find him. I have to. Die, said Big Rob, the simpleton from the bottom of the grave, lying there, so still and cold, with a ragged red wound gaping in his belly. He did not look very big at all. Dunk stopped and stared at him. You're not dead. You're down sleeping in the cellar. He looked to Sir Arlen for help. Tell him, sir, he pleaded. Tell him to get out of the grave. Only it was not Sir Arlen of Penetree standing over him at all. It was Sir Bennis of the Brown Shield. The Brown Knight only cackled. Dunk the Lunk, he said, getting slow, but certain. Never knew a man to live with his entrails hanging out. Red froth bubbled on his lips. He turned and spat, and the white sand drank it down. Trub was standing behind him with an arrow in his eye, weeping, slow, red tears. And there was Wet Wat, too, his head cut nearly in half, with Old Lem and Red-Eye Pate and all the rest. They had all been chewing sour leaf with Bennis, Dunk thought at first, but then he realized that it was blood trickling from their mouths. Dead, he thought, all dead, and the Brown Knight betrayed. Aye, so best get busy. You've more graves to dig, Lunk. 8 for them and 1 for me, and 1 for old Sir Useless, and the last one for your bald head boy. The spade slipped from Dunk's hands. Egg, he cried, run! We have to run! But the sands were giving way beneath his feet. When the boy tried to scramble from its hole, its crumbling sides gave way and collapsed. Dunk saw the sands wash over Egg, burying him as he opened his mouth to shout. He tried to fight his way to him, but the sands were rising all around him, pulling him down into the grave, filling his mouth, his nose, his eyes. What the heck? Yikes. What is going on? That was a weird dream sequence. I feel like that was very prophetic. I'm going to have to revisit that later. Come the break of day, Sir Bennis set about teaching their recruits to form a shield wall. Yeah, when are dreams not weird? Great, very true. That was a good writing sequence. It makes me really nervous that Dunk is going to see Egg die. I hope not. We'll see how right this prophecy is. He lined the 8 of them up to shoulder, with their shields touching and their spear points poking through like long, sharp wooden teeth. Then Dunk and Egg mounted up and charged them. Maester refused to go within 10 feet of the spears, and stopped abruptly, but Thunder had been trained for this. The big warhorse pounded straight ahead, gathering speed. Hens ran beneath his legs, and flapping away, screeching. Their panic must have been contagious. Once more, Big Rob was the first to drop his spear and run, leaving a gap in the middle of the wall. Instead of closing up, Standfast's other warriors joined the flight. Thunder trod upon their discarded shields before Dunk could rein him up. Woven branches cracked and splintered beneath his iron-shod hooves. Sir Bennis rattled off a pungent string of curses as chickens and peasants scattered in all directions. Egg fought manfully to hold his laughter in, but finally lost the battle. Enough of that. Dunk threw Thunder to a halt, unfastened his helmet, and tore it off. If they do that in a battle, it will get the whole lot of them killed, and you and me as well, most like. The morning was already hot, and he felt as soiled and sticky as if he'd never bathed at all. His head was pounding, and he could not forget the dream he dreamed the night before. It never happened that way, he tried to tell himself. It wasn't like that. Chestnut had died on a long, dry ride to Vaith. That part was true. Oh! So he's got 3, Chestnut, Thunder, and Maester. Aw. Chestnut had died on a long, dry ride to Vaith. That part was true. He and Egg rode double until Egg's brother gave them Maester. The rest of it, though. Oh, I was confusing Thunder and Chestnut. That's sad. Blues, what's going on? Welcome back. Glad you're here. Welcome back to me just being confused. Horse deaths. I don't want a horse to die. Please. Where am I? I never wept. I might have wanted to, but I never did. He had wanted to bury the horse as well, but the Dornishman would not wait. Sand dogs must eat and feed their pups. One of the Dornish knights told him as he helped Sir Dunk strip the stot of saddle and bridle. His flesh will feed the dogs or feed the sands. In a year his bones will be scoured clean. This is Dorne, my friend. Remembering, Dunk could not help but wonder who would feed on Wat's flesh. And Wat's. Maybe there are Cheque fish down there beneath the Cheque water. He rode Thunder back to the tower and dismounted. Egg, help Sir Bennis round them up and get them back here. He shoved his helm at Egg and strode to the steps. Sir Eustace met him in the dimness of his solar. This was not well done. That was not well done. No, my lord, said Dunk. They will not serve. A sworn sword owes his liege service and obedience, but this is madness. It was their first time. Their fathers and brothers were as bad or worse when they began their training. My sons worked with them before we went to help the king. Every day for a good fortnight. They made soldiers of them. And when the battle came, O Lord, Dunk asked, how did they fare then? How many of them came home with you? The old knight looked long at him. Lem, he said at last, and Pate and Dake. Dake foraged for us. He was as fine a forager as I ever knew. We never marched on empty bellies. 3 came back, sir. 3 and me. His mustache quivered. It may take longer than a fortnight. O Lord, said Dunk. The woman could be here upon the morrow, with all her men. They are good lads, he thought, but they will soon be dead lads if they go up against the knights of Cold Moat. There must be some other way. Some other way, Sir Eustace ran his fingers lightly across the little iron shield. I will have no justice from Lord Rowan, nor this king. He grasped Dunk by the forearm. It comes to me that in the days gone by, when the Green Kings ruled, you could pay a man a blood price if you had slain one of his animals or peasants. A blood price? Dunk was dubious. Some other way, you said. I have some coin laid by. It was only a little claret on the cheek, Sir Bennis says. I could pay the man a silver stag, and 3 to the woman for the insult. I could and would, if she would take the dam down. The old man frowned. I cannot go to her. however, not at Cold Moat. A fat black fly buzzed around his head and lighted on his arm. The castle was ours once. Did you know that, Sir Duncan? Aye, my lord, Sam Stoops had told him. For 1,000 years before the conquest, we were the marshals of the North March. A score of lesser lordlings did us fealty, and 100 landed knights. We had 4 castles then, and watchtowers on the hills to warn of the coming of our enemies. Cold Moat was the greatest of our seats. Lord Perwyn Osgrey raised it. Perwyn the Proud, they called him. After the field of fire, Highgarden passed from the kings to stewards and to the Ospreys, and the Ospreys dwindled and diminished. 'Twas Aegon's son, King Maegor, who took Cold Moat from us. When Lord Ormond Osgrey spoke out against his suppression of the stars and swords, as the poor fellows and the warrior sons were called, his voice had grown hoarse. There was a Chequy lion carved into that stone above the gates of Cold Moat. My father showed it to me. The first time he took me with him to call on old Reinard Weber. I showed it to my sons in turn. Adam served at Cold Moat as a page and squire, and a certain fondness grew upon him between him and Lord Wyman's daughter. So one winter day I donned my richest raiment and went to Lord Wyman to propose a marriage. His refusal was courteous, but as I left him I heard him laughing with Sir Lucas Inchfield. I never returned to Cold Moat after that, save once, when that woman presumed to carry off one of mine own. When they told me to seek for poor Lem at the bottom of the moat. Dake, said Dunk. Bennis says his name was Dake. Dake. The fly was creeping down his sleeve, pausing to rub its legs together the way flies do. Sir Eustace shooed it away and rubbed his lip beneath his mustache. Dake, that was what I said. A staunch fellow. I recall him well. He foraged for us during the war. We never marched on empty bellies. When Sir Lucas informed me of what he had done to my poor Dake, I swore a holy vow that I would never set foot inside that castle unless to take possession. So you see, I cannot go there, Sir Duncan. Not to pay the blood price, nor for any other reason. I cannot. Dunk understood. I could go, my lord. I swore no vows. You are a good man, Sir Duncan, a brave knight and true. Sir Eustace gave Dunk's arm a squeeze. Would that the gods had spared my Alisane. You are the sort of man I had always hoped that she might marry. A true knight, Sir Duncan, a true knight. Dunk was turning red. I will tell Lady Weber what you said about the blood price, but you will save Sir Bennis from Dake's father. I know it. I am no mean judge of men, and you are the true steel. You will give them pause, sir, the very sight of you. When that woman sees that stand fast as such a champion, she may well take down that dam of her own accord. Dunk did not know what to say. He knelt. My lord, I will go upon the morrow and do the best I can. On the morrow. The fly came circling back and lit upon Sir Eustace's left hand. He raised his right and smashed it flat. Yes, on the morrow. That felt weirdly prophetic. That's why the donkey's name is Maester, because it came from his brother Aemon. Mandela, later. You don't think you read this? Come on. You're missing out. It's a good little tale. All right, let's keep on reading. Another bath, Egg said, dismayed. You washed yesterday. And then I spent the day in armor, swimming in my sweat. Close your lips and fill the kettle. You washed the night Sir Eustace took us into service, Egg pointed out. And last night, and now. That's 3 times, sir. I need to treat with a highborn lady. Do you want me to turn up before her high seat smelling like Sir Bennis? You would have to roll in a tub of Maester's droppings to smell as bad as that, sir. Egg filled the kettle. Sam Stoop says the Castellan at Coldmoat is as big as you are. Lucas Inchfield is his name, but he's called the Longinch for his size. Do you think he's as big as you are, sir? That's like your kids. I had a bath yesterday. I like that the kid is protesting the bath of an adult. But you had a bath yesterday. Yeah, I was going to say that. It felt like you, Sir Eustace, had a little bit of dementia. Does dementia exist in this world at this time? He was forgetting his people's names, and he was retelling stories. Anyway, let's keep reading. No, it had been years since Dunk had met anyone as tall as he was. He took the kettle and hung it above the fire. Will you fight him? No. Dunk almost wished it had been otherwise. He might not be the greatest fighter in the realm, but size and strength could make up for many lacks. Not for a lack of wits, though. He was no good with words and worse with women. This giant Lucas Longinch did not daunt him half so much as the prospect of facing the Red Widow. I'm going to talk to the Red Widow, that's all. What will you tell her, sir? That she has to take the dam down. You must take down your dam, my lady, or else. Ask her to take the dam down, I mean. Please give back her cheque water, if it pleases her. A little water, my lady, if it pleases you. Sir Eustace would not want him to beg. How do I say it, then? The water soon began to steam and bubble. Help me lug this to the tub, Dunk told the boy. Together they lifted the kettle from the hearth and crossed the cellar to the big wooden tub. I don't know how to talk with the highborn ladies, he confessed as they were pouring. We both might have been killed in Dorne on account of what I said to Lady Vaith. Lady Vaith was mad, Egg reminded him. But you could have been more gallant. Ladies like it when you're gallant. If you were to rescue the Red Widow the way you rescued that puppet girl from Arianne. Arianne's in lists, and the widow's not in wanting of rescue. He did not want to talk of Tanselle. Tanselle Too Tall was her name, but she was not too tall for me. Aw. Well, the voice said, some knights sing gallant songs to their ladies or play them tunes upon a lute. I have no lute. Dunk looked morose. And that night I drank too much in Planky Town. You told me I sang like an ox in the mud wallows. I had forgotten, sir. How could you forget? You told me to forget, sir, said Egg, all innocent. You told me I'd get a clout in the ear next time I mentioned it. There will be no singing, even if he had the voice for it. The only song Dunk knew all the way through was The Bear, the Maiden Fair. He doubted that would do much to win over Lady Weber. The kettle was steaming once again. They wrestled it over to the tub and upended it. Egg drew water to fill it fill it for a third time, then clambered back onto the well. You'd best not take any food to drink at Coldmoat, sir. The Red Widow poisoned all her husbands. He doesn't pay enough attention to remember them. Yeah, a little bit of depression of some sort. Yeah, he just forgets sometimes, to be honest. Spoiler, which Game of Thrones character Dunk is connected to? I have a guess. I think it's going to be Brienne of Tarth. They're both massive. I feel like that's an easy one. That's my only guess. Another guess that I would have would be potentially Lannisters, but Lannisters aren't that big. But I don't know why. He kind of reminds me of a Lannister to some extent, like a dumb Lannister. I don't know. But I'd probably say he's related to Brienne, an ancestor of Brienne. But I don't know how that would be. He's really got to rise high in the ranks. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when we get there. I don't know. You don't think it's a spoiler? Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be that much of a spoiler, unless it's like integral to the plot. Integral. Hmm. I'm not like to marry her. She's a highborn lady, and I'm Dunk of Flea Bottom. Remember? He frowned. Just how many husbands has she had? Do you know? Say it. Who's she related to, or who's he related to? I think it's Brienne. That's my guess. Brienne of Toth. The Emerald Isle. Place where there's so many emeralds that they'll pay you really well for them. So says Jaime Lannister. It is Brienne. I love that. Love that. That makes me happy. Yeah, they kind of have the same personality. They're just very honorable. Honestly, great genes in this family right now. I want to be part of this family. I love that. That's actually so sweet. That makes me love Brienne even more. Brienne's one of my favorite characters. Jaime also spoke highly of him, of Sir Dunk. That's interesting. Just how many husbands has she had? Do you know? Four, said Egg, but no children. Whenever she gives birth, a demon comes by night to carry off the issue. Is the Red Widow, does she serve the Lord of Light? Is the Lord of Light a thing yet? Sam Stoops' wife says she sold her babies unborn to the Lord of the Seven Hills, Lord of the Seven Hells, so he'd teach her his black arts. Highborn ladies don't meddle with the black arts. They dance and sing and do embroidery. Maybe she dances with demons and embroils evil spells, Egg said with relish. And how would you know what a highborn ladies do, sir? Lady Vaith is the only one you ever knew. That was insolent, but true. Might be I don't know any highborn ladies, but I know a boy who's asking for a good clout in the ear. Dunk rubbed the back of his neck. A day in chainmail always left it hard as wood. I've known queens and princes. Did they dance with demons and practice the black arts? Lady Shira does. Lord Bloodraven's paramour. What's a paramour? Lord Bloodraven's paramour. She bathes in blood to keep her beauty. And once my sister Ray, put a love potion in my drink so I'd marry her instead of my sister Dela. Wow. There's the incest of the Targaryens, I guess. Lover. Paramour is lover. Oh, interesting. Egg spoke as if such incest was the most natural thing in the world. For him, it is. The Targaryens have been marrying brother to sister for hundreds of years to keep the blood of the dragon pure. Though the last actual dragon had died before Dunk was born, the dragon kings went on. Maybe the gods don't mind them marrying their sisters. Did the potions work? Dunk asked. They would have, said Egg, but I spit it out. I don't want a wife. I want to be a knight of the Kingsguard and live only to serve and defend the king. The Kingsguard are sworn not to wed. That's a noble thing, but when you are older, you may find you'd sooner have a girl than a white cloak. Dunk was thinking of Tanselle, too tall. The way she'd smiled at him at Ashford. Sir Eustace said I was the sort of man he'd hope to have his daughter wed. Her name was Alysanne. She's dead, sir. I know she's dead, said Dunk, annoyed. She was alive, he'd said. If she was, he'd like me to marry her. Or someone like me. I never had a lord offer me his daughter before. His dead daughter and the Osgraves might have been lords in the old days, but Sir Eustace is only a landed knight. I know what he is. Do you want a clout in the ear? I love that is the only thing that he has against them. Just a clout in the ear. Egg wins every single argument, and Dunk just follows it up with, because he knows he's lost, he goes, I'm going to give you a clout in the ear. He's just so annoyed. Egg is so much smarter than him. Egg is a great character. Yeah, Bloodraven is weird. Bloodraven is the Hand of the King currently. The king who is Ares. Ares. And he just says it. He never actually does it. Okay, Hand of the King. King is Ares. Alrighty. I love their conversations. They're so funny together. Well, said Egg, I sooner have a clout than a wife, especially a dead wife, sir. The kettle's steaming. They carried the water to the tub, and Dunk pulled his tunic over his head. I will wear my Dornish tunic to Cold Moat. It was a sand silk, the finest garment that he owned, painted with his elm and falling star. If you will wear it for the ride, it will get all sweaty, sir, Egg said. Wear the one you wore today. I'll bring the other, and you can change when you reach the castle. Before I reach the castle. I look a fool changing clothes on the drawbridge. And who said you were coming with me? A knight is more oppressive with a squire in attendance. That was true. The boy had a good sense of such things. He should. He served 2 years as a page at King's Landing. Even so, Dunk was reluctant to take him into danger. He had no notion of what sort of welcome awaited him at Cold Moat. If this Red Widow was as dangerous as they said, he could end up in a crow cage, like those two men had seen upon the road. You will stay and help Bennis with the small folk, he told Egg, and don't give me that sullen look. He kicked his breeches off and climbed into the tub of steaming water. Go on and get sleep, and leave me have my bath. You're not going, and that's the end of it. I love them. They're just so cute together. I feel like he would never raise a hand to this kid. That's one of my favorite attributes of him, is that he like goes along with the way that people talk, the way that knights talk, but you know his heart is so kind that he would actually never do that. I don't think he would ever do that. I don't think he's ever raised his hand to do it. Like, he's all talk. He's just a big softy. He's like Brienne. I have to say, season 8, episode 2, one of my favorite moments is when Brienne gets knighted, and then when everyone's clapping for her, and she does that cheesy little smile, because that is really the heart of Brienne. She is so tough exterior, but interior, she just loves people. Like, loved Renly Baratheon, and now loves Jaime, and just is so happy that she's a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. It's a beautiful section. All right, let's keep reading. I hope we don't have another dream sequence right now. Or I kind of hope we do. Those were kind of fun. Egg was up and gone was when Dunk woke. With the light of the morning sun in his face. Gods be good. How could it be so hot so soon? He sat up and stretched, yawning, then climbed to his feet and stumbled sleepily down to the well, where he lit a fat tallow candle, splashed some cold water on his face, and dressed. When he stepped out into the sunlight, Thunder was waiting by the stable, saddled and bridled. Egg was waiting too, with Maester, his mule. The boy had put his boots on. For once he looked a proper squire, in a handsome doublet of green and gold checks, and a pair of tight woolen breeches. The breeches were torn in the seat, but Sam stooped sewed them up for me, he announced. The clothes were Adam's, said Sir Eustace, as he led his own grey gelding from his stall. The chequet line adorned the frayed silk cloak that flowed down from the old man's shoulders. The doublet is a trifle musty from the trunk, but it should serve. A knight is more impressive with a squire in attendance, so I've decided that Egg should accompany you to Cold Moat. Oh no! Outwitted by a boy of 10, Dunk looked at Egg and silently mouthed the words "clout in the ear." The boy grinned. Dude, I love them. They are so cute. This is actually so great. This is so cute. The name of the episode when Brienne was knighted is A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, in part because of the title of this book. Oh, I love that so much. That is great. That is so lovely. Dude, Dunk is great. Egg is so cute. I have something for you as well, Sir Duncan. Come. Sir Eustace produced a cloak and shook it out with a flourish. It was white wool, bordered with squares of green satin and cloth of gold. A woolen cloak was the last thing he needed in such heat, but when Sir Eustace draped it about his shoulders, Dunk saw the pride on his face and found himself unable to refuse. Thank you, my lord. That is such a Brienne thing. Oh, his character was perfect in season 8, episode 2, and then just goes to crap. Was that the worst character arc out of any character? Was there anyone worse than that? I think his was probably the worst. Maybe Bran's. It suits you well. Would that I could give you more. The old man's mustache twitched. I sent Sam Stoops down to the cellar to search through my son's things. But Edwin and Harold were smaller men, thinner in the chest and much shorter in the legs. None of what they would left fit you. No, none of what they left would fit you, sad to say. The cloak is enough, my lord. I won't shame it. I do not doubt that. He gave his horse a pat. I thought I'd ride with you part of the way if you have no objection. None, my lord. Egg led them down the hill, sitting tall on Maester. Must he wear that floppy straw hat? Sir Eustace asked Dunk. He looks a bit foolish, don't you think? Not so foolish as when his head is peeling, my lord. Even at this hour, with the sun barely above the horizon, it was hot. By afternoon, the saddles will be hot enough to raise blisters. Egg might look elegant in the dead boy's finery, but he would be a boiled egg by nightfall. Dunk, at least, could change. He had a good tunic in his saddlebag and an old green one on his back. We'll take the west way, Sir Eustace announced. It is a little used these past years, but still the shortest way from Standfast to Coldmoat. The path took them around the back of the hills, past the graves where the old knight had laid his wife and sons to rest in the thicket of the blackberry bushes. They loved to pick the berries here, my boys. When they were little, they would come to me with sticky faces and scratches on their arms. Then I'd know just where they'd been. He smiled fondly. Your egg reminds me of Adam, a brave boy, for one so young. Adam was trying to protect his wounded brother Harold when the battle washed over them. A riverman with 6 acorns on a shield took his arm off with an axe. His sad gray eyes found Dunk's. This old master of yours, the Knight of Pennytree, did he fight in the Blackfire Rebellion? He did, my lord, before he took me on. Dunk had been no more than 3 or 4 at the time, running half naked through the alleys of Flea Bottom, more animal than boy. Was he for the Red Dragon or the Black? Huh. The Red Dragon or the Black? He's the worst, followed closely by Jon and then Daenerys. Yeah, honestly. Jon's is disappointing. Honestly, Jon's wasn't quite as disappointing, but where he ended up to me was so disappointing. That was a bummer. Like, Bran doesn't solve anything being the king. Anyway, I digress. Red or black was a dangerous question even now. Since the days of Aegon the Conqueror, the arms of House Targaryen had borne a 3-headed dragon, red on black. Daemon the Pretender, not our Daemon, right, had reversed those colors on his own banners, as many bastards did. Sir Eustace is my liege lord, Dunk reminded himself. He has a right to ask. He fought beneath Lord Hayford's banners, my lord. Different Daemon? Okay, I was going to say. We're going to have something crazy that happens. When is the Blackfire Rebellion in relation to this? So isn't the House of the Dragon is about 200 years before Game of Thrones, and this is about 100 years before? What does it say in the beginning? This is about 100 years, I think. About 100 years prior to the events described in Game of Thrones. Oh, so House of the Dragon is just a few years before this. Interesting. That's actually really interesting. What would the timeline be? So maybe this is like a son that Daemon has. He wants to name it Daemon. House of the Dragon is happening roughly 150 years before. Okay, interesting. All right, good to know. Thank you. Green Freddy over gold. A green pale wavy. It might be, my lord. Egg would not know. Or Egg would know. The lad could recite the arms of half the knights in Westeros. Lord Hayford was a noted loyalist. King Darren made him his hand just before the battle. Butterwell had done such a dismal job that many questioned his loyalty, but Lord Hayford had been stalwart from the first. Sir Arlen was beside him when he fell. A lord with 3 castles on his shield cut him down. Many good men fell that day on both sides. The grass was not red before the battle. Did your Sir Arlen tell you that? Sir Arlen never liked to speak about the battle. His squire died there too. Oh, Roger of Pennytree was his name, Sir Arlen's sister's son. Oh. Even saying the name made Dunk feel vaguely guilty. I stole his place. Only princes and great lords had means to keep 2 squires. If Aegon the Unworthy had given his sword to his heir Darren instead of his bastard Daemon, there might never have been a Blackfire rebellion. Interesting. I feel like we're getting like House of the Dragon stuff here. 300 years before Game of Thrones, Aegon's conquest. Interesting, okay. So Blackfire Rebellion is just a few years before this. Okay. Like, these are all names that I know. Isn't Darren Alicent's sister? Or Alicent's brother? And then Aegon the Unworthy? To me, I know who that is, but that's probably not the right one. There's probably a different Aegon. Doesn't Rhaenyra have an Aegon? Too many kids name the same things. And Roger Pennytree might be alive today. He would be a knight someplace, a truer knight than me. I would have ended on the gallows or been sent off to the Night's Watch to walk the wall until I died. Aegon the Unworthy is Aegon the Fourth. Who is Aegon, son of Aemond? None of the ones I know. Okay. Okay, perfect. A great battle is a terrible thing, the old knight said. But in the midst of blood and carnage, there are sometimes also beauty. Beauty that could break your heart. I will never forget the way the sun looked when it set upon the red grass field. 10,000 men had died. The air was thick with moans and lamentations, but above us the sky turned gold and red and orange, so beautiful it made me weep to know that my sons would never see it. He sighed. It was a closer thing than they would have had you believe these days, if not for the blood raven. The blood raven. It was a closer thing than they would have had you believe these days, if not for the blood raven. This dude seems weird. Her first son with Daemon. Okay. I feel like a sneeze is coming on. Feels like it's passing. Okay, I think we're good. I'd always heard that it was Baelor Breakspear who won the battle, said Dunk. Him and Prince Maekar. The hammer and the anvil? The old man's mustache gave a twitch. The singers leave out much and more. Daemon was the warrior himself that day. No man could stand before him. He broke Lord Aaron's van to pieces and slew the Knight of 9 Stars and Wild Will Waynwood, before coming up against Sir Gawain Corbray of the Kingsguard. For near an hour they danced together on their horses, wheeling and circling and slashing as men died all around them. It's said that whenever Blackfire and Lord Forlorn clashed, you could hear the sound for a league around. It was half a song and half a scream, they say. But when at last the lady faltered, Blackfire clove through Sir Gawain's helm and left him blind and bleeding. Wow. Oh, what's up? How are you, Sarah? Good to see you. Danny's done. Welcome. Welcome to the more boring stream. low key, the more chill one. You haven't read the book yet, and it's 1:30. Go to bed. What are you doing? I have to read. It was good, but go to bed. It's way too early in the morning. Way too late. Come back and read this, and then just chill with us after. Yeah, you watch afterwards. Yeah. Blackfire was Aegon's sword, which was held by the reigning kings. You can see Viserys holding it in the first season of House of the Dragon. Interesting. Okay. Why is that? Why it's called Blackfire Rebellion? Because the sword was stolen. Later, Sarah. Rhaenyra's son is not Aegon the Unworthy. Okay, excellent. Thank you. I need to know like all these family trees, but I want to know this after I like, look through some Game of Thrones stuff. Because I don't want to really. I mean, I did get a bad spoiler in this book for House of the Dragon, when Bloodworm eats Rhaenyra, or something like that. Crazy. Or eats or kills Rhaenyra's dragon. Something like that. Daemon mounted to see that his fallen foe was not trampled, and commanded Red Tusk to carry him back to the maesters in the rear. And there was his mortal error, for the raven's teeth had gained the top of the Weeping Ridge, and Bloodraven saw his half-brother's royal standard 300 yards away, and Daemon and his sons beneath it. He slew Aegon first, the elder of the twins, for he knew that Daemon would never leave the boy while warmth lingered in his body, though white shafts fell like rain. Nor did he, though 7 arrows pierced him, driven as much by sorcery as by Bloodraven's bow. Young Aemon took up Blackfire when the blade slipped from his dying father's fingers. So Bloodraven slew him too, the younger of the twins. Thus perished the Black Dragon and his sons. Dang. Okay, yeah, thank you. No spoilers. Something like that. Something about there. Ooh, yeah, Nemo. If you can make me a little family tree with the characters that I know, that would be the best. Someone should make that into a website. You should be able to like choose what point you're up to in Game of Thrones or in the whole series for everything George R. R. has written, and it should just give you the family tree of only the things that you know at that point. That'd be kind of a fire website, like a Targaryen Dragonfire website. Oh, Bloodraven is creepy. Can I look up a picture of Bloodraven? I kind of want to know like what he looks like. There was much and more afterward, I know. I saw a bit of myself. The rebels running. Or I saw a bit of it myself. The rebels running. Bittersteel turning the rout and leading his mad charge. The battle with Bloodraven second only to the one Daemon fought with Gawain Corbray. Prince Baelor's hammer blow against the rebel rear, the Dornishmen all screaming as they filled the air with spears, but at the end of the day, it made no matter. The war was done when Daemon died. Don't look at him up? Okay, excellent. So close a thing. If Daemon had ridden over Gawain Corbray and left him to his fate, he might have broken Maker's left before Bloodraven could take the ridge. The day would have belonged to the Black Dragons then, with the hand slain and the road to King's Landing open before them. Daemon might have been sitting on the Iron Throne by the time Prince Baelor could come up with his Stormlords and his Dornishmen. The singers can go on about their hammer and anvil, sir, but it was the king's kinslayer who turned the tide with a white arrow and a black spell. He rules us now as well, make no mistake. King Aerys is his creature. It would not surprise me to learn that Bloodraven had ensorcelled his grace. Ensorcelled his grace? To bend him to his will. So this is like a little bit like a Theoden kind of a Grima situation going on. Small wonder we are cursed. Sir Eustace shook his head and lapsed into a brooding silence. Dunk wondered how much Egg had overheard. There was no way to ask him. How many eyes does Lord Bloodraven have? He thought. So Lord Bloodraven seems like he's a kinslayer? Do we know Lord Bloodraven's last name? Or is Bloodraven his last name? Or is it just a nickname? I kind of forgot. Weird. Doesn't have any information attached. Wouldn't mind that. Someone throw that in Discord somewhere. Just want to know what he looks like. All right, keep reading. Already the day was growing hotter. Even the flies had fled, Dunk noted. Flies have a better sense than knights. They stay out of the sun. He wondered whether he and Egg would be offered hospitality at Cold Moat. A tankard of cool brown ale would go down well. Dunk was considering that prospect with pleasure when he remembered that what Egg had said about the Red Widow poisoning her husbands. His thirst fled at once. There were worse things than dry throats. There was a time when House Osgray held all the lands for many leagues around. From Nunney in the east to Cobble Cove, Sir Eustace said, Cold Moat was ours, and the Horseshoe Hills, and the caves at Daring Downs, the villages of Dosk and Little Dosk, and Brandy Bottom, both sides of Leafy Lake. Osgray maids wed Florence, swans, tarbecks, even high towers and blackwoods. The edge of Watts Wood had come in sight. Dunk shielded his eyes with one hand and squinted at the greenery. For once he envied Egg with his floppy hat. At least we'll have some shade. Watts Wood once extended all the way to Cold Moat, Sir Eustace said. I do not recall who Wat was. Before the conquest, you could find aurochs in this wood. Aurochs, though. And great elks of 20 hands and more. There were more red deer than any man could take in a lifetime, for none but the king and the Chequay lion were allowed to hunt here. Even in my father's day, there were trees on both sides of the streams, but the spiders cleared the woods away to make pastures for their cows and sheep and horses. A thin finger of sweat crept down Dunk's chest. He found himself wishing devoutly that his liege lord would keep quiet. It is too hot for talk. It is too hot for riding. It is just too bloody hot. In the woods they came upon the carcass of a great brown tree cat, crawling with maggots. Ew, Egg said as he walked Maester wide round it. That stinks worse than Sir Bennis. Sir Eustace reined up. A tree cat. I know not that there were any left in this wood. I wonder what killed him. When no one answered, he said, I will turn back here. Just continue on the west way, and it will take you straight to Cold Moat. You have coin? Or you have the coin? Dunk nodded. Good. Come home with my water, sir. The old knight trotted off, back the way they'd come. Nope, I'm getting a call. Hold on, I'm going to put this off for a second. Call you in like an hour. Why do I hear something? Hello? Posted one in the server. Okay. They do feel like Shire locations. I was just thinking that. Let me look up Blood Raven. The Blood Raven. What a name. Ugh. Gosh, look at that dude. It's very pale. Interesting. I was imagining more like greasy black hair, but I guess he's blonde. A little blondie. All right, let's keep reading. Where am I? When he was gone, Egg said, I thought how you should speak to Lady Weber, sir. You should win her to your side with gallant compliments. The boy looked as cool and crisp as a check tunic, in his check tunic as Sir Eustace had in his cloak. Am I the only one who sweats? Gallant compliments, Dunk echoed. What sort of gallant compliments? You know, sir, tell her how fair and how beautiful she is. Dunk had doubts. She's outlived 4 husbands. She must be as old as Lady Vaith. If I say she's fair and beautiful when she's old and warty, she will make me for a liar. You just need to find something true to say about her. That's what my brother Darren does. Even ugly whores can have nice hair or well-shaped ears, he says. Well-shaped ears? Dunk's doubts were growing. Or pretty eyes. Tell her that her gown brings out the color of her eyes. The lad reflected for a moment. Unless she only has one eye like Lord Bloodraven. My lady, that gown brings out the color of your eyes. He goes, my lady, that gown brings out the color of your eye. Oh, he's albino. Interesting. The 10-year-old or the 18-year-old. 100% is Egg. Egg is so great. He's smart. Dunk had heard knights and lordlings mouth such gallantries at other ladies. They never put it quite so boldly, though. Good lady, that gown is beautiful. It brings out the color of both your lovely eyes. Some of the ladies had been old and scrawny, or flat and florid, or pock-scarred and homely. But all wore gowns and had 2 eyes. And as Dunk recalled, they'd been well pleased by the flowery words. What a lovely gown, my lady. It brings out the lovely beauty of your beautiful colored eyes. A hedge knight's life is simpler, Dunk said glumly. If I say the wrong thing, she's like to sew me in a sack of rocks and throw me in her moat. I doubt she'll have I doubt she'll have that big of a sack, sir, said Egg. We could use my boot instead. No, Dunk growled. We couldn't. When they emerged from Watts Wood, they found themselves well upstream of the dam. The waters had risen high enough for Dunk to take a soak that he dreamed of, deep enough to drown a man, he thought. On the far side, the bank had been cut through and a ditch dug to divert some of the flow westward. The ditch ran along the road, feeding a myriad of smaller channels that snaked off through the fields. Once we cross the stream, we are at the widow's power. Dunk wondered what he was riding into. He was only one man, with a boy of 10 to guard his back. Egg fanned his face. Sir, why are we stopped? We're not. Dunk gave his mount and heels and splashed down into the stream. Egg followed on the mule. The water rose as high as Thunder's belly before it began to fall again. They emerged dripping on the widow's side. Ahead, the ditch ran straight as a spear, shining green and golden in the sun. When they spied the towers of the Cold Moat several hours later, Dunk stopped to change his good Dornish tunic and loosen his long sword in its scabbard. He did not want the blade sticking, as he should need to pull it free. Egg gave his dagger hilt a shake as well, his face solemn beneath his floppy hair. They rode on side by side, Dunk on the big destrier, the boy on his mule, the Osprey banner flapping listlessly from its staff. Coldmoat came as somewhat of a disappointment after all Sir Eustace had said of it. Compared to Storm's End or Highgarden and other lordly seats that Dunk had seen, it was a modest castle. But it was a castle, not a fortified watchtower. Its crenellated outer walls stood 30 feet high, with towers at each corner, each one half again the size of a standfast. From every turret and spire the black banners of the Weber hung heavy, each emblazoned with a spotted spider upon the silvery web. Sir, Egg said, the water? Look where it goes. The ditch ended under Coldmoat's eastern walls, spilling down into the moat from which the castle took its name. The gurgle of the falling water made Dunk grind his teeth. She will not have my Chequet water. Come, he said to Egg. Over the arch of the main gate, a row of spider banners drooped in the still air above the old sigil carved deep into the stone. Centuries of wind and weather had worn it down, but the shape of it was still distinct. a rampant lion made of checkered squares. The gates beneath were open. As they clattered across the drawbridge, Dunk made note of how low the moat had fallen. 6 feet at least, he judged. 2 spearmen barred their way at the portcullis. One had a big black beard and one did not. The beard demanded to know their purpose here. The Lord of Osgray sent me to treat with Lady Weber, Dunk told him. I am called Sir Duncan the Tall. Well, I knew you wasn't Bennis, said the beardless guard. We would have smelled him coming. He had a missing tooth and a spotted spider badge sewn above his heart. The beard was squinting suspiciously at Dunk. No one sees her ladyship unless Long Lynch gives his leave. You can come with me. Your stable boy can stay with the horses. I'm a squire, not a stable boy, Egg insisted. Are you blind or only stupid? The beardless guard broke into laughter. The beard put the point of his spear at the boy's throat. Say that again. Dunk gave Egg a clout in the ear. No, shut your mouth and tend to the horses. He dismounted. I'll see Sir Lucas now. The beard lowered his spear. He's in the yard. They passed beneath the spiked iron portcullis and under a murder hole before emerging into the outer ward. A murder hole, gosh. That doesn't sound very warm and welcoming. Hounds were barking in the kennels, and Dunk could hear singing coming from the leaden glass windows of a seven-sided wooden sept. Seven-sided wooden sept. Oh, he did hit the boy. He gave him a clout. No! Come on. In the front of the smithy, a blacksmith was shoeing a war horse, with a prentice boy assisting. Nearby, a squire was loosing shafts at the archery butts, while a freckled girl with a long braid matched him shot for shot. The quintain was spinning too. The quaintain. As half a dozen knights' quilted paddings took their turns knocking it around. They found Sir Lucas Longinch among the watchers at the quintain, speaking with a great fat septon who was sweating worse than Dunk. A round white pudding of a man, in robes as damp as if he'd worn them in his bath. Inchfield was a lance beside him, stiff and straight and very tall, though not so tall as Dunk. 6 feet and 7 inches, Dunk judged, and each inch prouder than the last. Though he wore a black and silk and cloth of silver, Sir Lucas looked as cool as if he were walking on the wall. My lord, he guarded and hailed him. This one comes from the chicken tower for an audience with her ladyship. The septon turned first, with a hoot of delight that made Dunk wonder if he were drunk. And what is this? The hedge knight? You have large hedges in the reach. The septon made a sign of blessing. May the warrior fight ever at your side. I am Septon Sefton. Septon Sefton? An unfortunate name, but mine own. And you? Sir Duncan the Tall. A modest fellow, this one, the septon said to Sir Lucas. Were I as large as him, I'd call myself Sir Sefton the Immense, Sir Sefton the Tower, Sir Sefton with the clouds about his ears. His moon face was flushed, and there was wine stains on his robe. Sir Lucas studied the Dunk. He was an older man, 40 at least, perhaps as old as 50, sinewy rather than muscular, with a remarkably ugly face. His lips were thick, his teeth yellow tangle, his nose broad and fleshy, his eyes protruding. And he is angry. Dunk sensed, even before the man said, hedge knights are beggars with blades at best, outlaws at worst. Be gone with you. We want none of your sort here. Dunk's face darkened. Sir Eustace Osgray sent me from Sandfast to treat with the lady of the castle. Osgray? The septon glanced at Longinch. Osgray of the Chequet Lions? I thought House Osgray was extinguished. Near enough as to make no matter. The old man is the last of them. We let him keep a crumbling tower house a few leagues east. Sir Lucas frowned at Dunk. If Sir Eustace wants to talk to her ladyship, let him come himself. His eyes narrowed. You were the one with Bennis at the dam. Don't trouble to deny it. I ought to hang you. 7 save us. The septon dabbed sweat from the brow with his sleeve. A brigand, is he? And a big one. Sir, repent your evil ways and the mother will have mercy. The Septon's pious plea was undercut when he farted. Oh dear, forgive my whim, sir. That's what comes of beans and barley bread. I am not a brigand, Dunk told the two of them, with all the dignity that he could muster. The Long Inch was unmoved by the denial. Do not presume upon my patience, sir, if you are a sir. Run back to your chicken tower and Sir Eustace deliver up Sir Bennis Brownstench. If he spares us the trouble of winking him out of Standfast, her ladyship might be more inclined to clemency. I will speak with her ladyship about Sir Bennis and the trouble at the dam, and about the stealing of our water too. Stealing? Said Sir Lucas. Say that to Our Lady, and you'll be swimming in a sack before the sun is set. Are you quite certain that you wish to see her? The only thing that Dunk was certain of was that he wanted to drive his fist through Lucas Inchfield's crooked yellow teeth. I told you what I want. Well, let him speak with her, the Septon urged. What harm could it do? Sir Duncan has had a long ride beneath the beastly sun. Let the fellow have his say. Sir Lucas studied Dunk again. Our Septon is a godly man. Come. I will thank you to be brief. He strode across the yard, and Dunk was forced to hurry after him. The doors of the castle sept had opened, and worshippers were streaming down the steps. There were knights and squires, a dozen children, several old men, 3 septas in white robes and hoods, and one soft, fleshly lady of high birth, garbed in a gown of dark blue. Excuse me. Damask, trimmed with myrish lace. So long its hems were trailing in the dirt. Dunk judged her to be 40. Beneath a spun silver net, her auburn hair was piled high. But the reddest thing about her was her face. Watching the Game Awards and hoping for Half-Life, or maybe God of War at least. Nice. I hope that I win. Good luck to them. Now, I do love how you can take the boy from the royal court, but you can't take the royal court out of him. I know he does still talk like a prince language. One of my favorite things about him. I kind of love that about him. All right, let's keep reading. My lady, Sir Lucas said, when they stood before her and the septas, this hedge knight claims to bring a message from Sir Eustace Osgrey. Will you hear it? If you wish it, Sir Lucas. She peered at Dunk so hard that he could not help but recall Egg's talk of sorcery. I don't think this one bathes in blood to keep her beauty. The widow was stout and square, with an oddly pointed head that her hair could not quite conceal. Her nose was too big and her mouth too small. She did have 2 eyes, and he was relieved to see. But all thought of gallantry had abandoned Dunk by then. Sir Eustace bid me to talk with you concerning the recent trouble at your dam. She blinked. The dam, you say? A crowd was gathering about them. Dunk could feel unfriendly eyes upon him. The stream, he said, the Chequy water, your ladyship built a dam across it. Oh, I am quite sure I haven't, she replied. Why, I have been at my devotions all morning, sir. Dunk heard Sir Lucas chuckle. I did not mean to say that your ladyship built the dam herself, only that without that water all our crops will die. The small folk have beans and barley in the fields, and melons. Truly? I am very fond of melons. Her small mouth made a happy bow. What sort of melons are they? Dunk glanced uneasily at the ring of faces, and felt his own face growing hot. Something is amiss here. Longinch is playing me for a fool. Milady, could we continue our discussion in some more private place? Silver says the great oaf means to bed her, someone japed. And a roar of laughter went up all around him. The lady cringed away, half in terror, and raised both hands to shield her face. One of the septas moved quickly to her side and put a protective arm around her shoulders. And what's all this merriment? The voice cut through the laughter, cool and firm. Will no one spare the jape, or will no one share the jape? Sir Knight, why are you troubling my good sister? It was a girl he had seen earlier at the archery butts. Excuse me. She had a quiver of arrows on one hip, and held a longbow that was just as tall as she was, which wasn't very tall. If Dunk was shy an inch of 7 feet, the archer was shy of an inch of 5. He could have spanned her waist with his two hands. Her red hair was bound up in a braid so long it brushed past her thighs. She had a dimpled chin, a snub nose, and a light spray of freckles across her cheeks. Forgive us, Lady Rohan. Ooh, little Lady Rohani? Rohan? Rohan? I'm just going to say Rohan. We're going to go with Lady Rohan. This is like a little Eowyn character. The speaker was a pretty young lord with the castle centaur embroidered on his doublet. This great oaf took the Lady Helicent for you. Lady Helicent. Dunk looked from one lady to the other. You are the Red Widow? He heard himself blurt out. But you're too young, the girl tossed her longbow to the lanky lad he had seen her shooting with. I am 25, as it happens. Or was it small, you meant to say? Pretty. It was pretty. Dunk did not know where that came from, but he was glad of it. He liked her nose and the strawberry blonde color of her hair, and the small but well-shaped breasts beneath her leather jerkin. I thought that you'd be... they said you were 4 times a widow, so... My first husband died when I was 10. He was 12 when my father's squire ridden down upon the red grass field. My husbands seldom linger long, I fear. The last died in spring. That was what they always said of those who had perished during the great spring sickness 2 years past. He died in the spring. Many tens of thousands had died in the spring. Amongst them, a wise old king and 2 young princelings full of promise. I'm sorry for your loss, milady. A gallantry, you lunk. Give her a gallantry. I want to say your gown. Gown? She glanced at her boots and breeches. Loose linen tunic and leather jerkins. I wear no gown. Your hair, I meant. It's soft and how would you know that, sir? Have you ever touched my hair? I should think that I might remember. Not soft, Dunk said miserably. Red, I meant to say your hair is very red. Very red, sir. Oh, not as red as your face, I hope. She laughed, and the onlookers laughed with her. All but Sir Lucas Longinch. My lady, he broke in, this man is one of the Standfast sellswords. He was with Bennis of the Brown Shield when he attacked your diggers at the dam and carved up Wolmer's face. Old Osgray sent him to treat with you. He did, my lady. I am called Sir Duncan the Tall. Sir Duncan the Dim, more like, said a bearded knight who wore the threefold thunderbolt of Laygood. More guffaws sounded. Even Lady Helicent had recovered herself enough to give a chuckle. Did the courtesy of Coldmoat die with my lord father? The girl asked. No, not a girl, a woman grown. How did Sir Duncan come to make such an error, I wonder? Dunk gave Inchfield an evil look. The fault was mine. Was it? The Red Widow looked Dunk over from his heels up to his head, though her gaze lingered longest on his chest. A tree and a shooting star. I have never seen those arms before. She touched his tunic, tracing a limb of his elm tree with 2 fingers, and painted, not sewn. The Dornish paint their silks, I've heard, but you look too big to be a Dornishman. Not all Dornishmen are small, milady. Dunk could feel her fingers through the silk. Her hand was freckled, too. I bet she's freckled all over. His mouth was oddly dry. I spent a year in Dorne. Do all oaks grow so tall there? She said, as her fingers traced the limb around his heart. Ooh, man, this is a tense little scene. He reads like Dunk just discovered girls. For sure. It's pretty cute. But I kind of like Tansel. It's meant to be an elm, my lady. I shall remember. She drew her hands back, solemn. The ward is too hot and dusty for a conversation. Septon, show Sir Duncan to my audience chamber. It would be my great pleasure, good sister. Our guests will have a thirst. You may send for a flagon of wine as well. Must I? The fat man beamed. Well, if it pleases you. I will join you as soon as I have changed. Unhooking her belt and quiver, she handed them to her companion. I'll watch Master Carrick as well. Sir Lucas, go ask him to attend me. I will bring him at once, milady, said Lucas Longinch. The look she gave her Castellan was cool. No need. I know you have many duties to perform about the castle. I will suffice if you send Master Carrick to my chambers. My lady, Dunk called after her. My squire was made to wait by the gates. Might he join us as well? Your squire? When she smiled, she looked a girl of 5 and 10, not a woman of 5 and 20. A pretty girl, full of mischief and laughter. If it pleases you, certainly. Don't drink wine, sir, Egg whispered to him, as they waited with the Septon in her audience chambers. The stone floors were covered with sweet-smelling rushes. The walls hung with tapestries of tourney scenes and battles. Dunk snorted. She has no need to poison me, he whispered back. She thinks I'm some great lout with peas porridge between his ears. As it happens, my good sister likes peas porridge, said Sefton, as he reappeared with a flagon of wine, a flagon of water, and 3 cups. Yes, I heard. I'm fat, not deaf. He filled 2 cups with wine and the other with water. The third he gave to Egg, who gave it a long, dubious look and put it aside. The Septon took no notice. This is an Arbor vintage, he was telling Dunk. Very fine. And the poison gives it a special piquancy. He winked at Egg. I seldom touch the grapes myself, but I have heard. He handed Dunk a cup. The wine was lush and sweet, but Dunk sipped it gingerly, and only after the Septon quaffed down half of it in his 3 big, lip-smacking gulps, Egg crossed his arms and continued to ignore his water. She does like peas porridge, the Septon said. And you as well, sir. I know. My own good sister. When I first saw you in the yard, I half hoped you were some suitor from King's Landing come to seek my lady's hand. Dunk furrowed his brow. How did you know I was from King's Landing, Septon? Kingslanders have a certain way of speaking. The Septon took a gulp of wine, sloshed it about his mouth, swallowed, and sighed with pleasure. I have served there many years, attending our High Septon in the great Sept of Baylor, he sighed. You would not know the city since the spring. The fires changed it. A quarter of the house is gone, another quarter empty. The rats are all gone as well. That is the queerest thing. I never thought to see a city without rats. Huh. Interesting. Needed some water. 1 sec. Got an itch deep down in the throat. All right, we're going to go another, 10-ish pages. There's a break on page 192. We're on page 178. So we're going to read through there. This is a good story. I like this so far. Dunk had heard that too. Were you there during the great spring sickness? Oh, indeed. A dreadful time, sir. Dreadful. Strong men would wake healthy at the break of day and be dead by evenfall. So many died so quickly that there was no time to bury them. They piled them in the dragon pit instead. And when the corpses were 10 feet, Lord Rivers commanded the pyromancers to burn them. The light of the fires shone through the windows as it did of yore when living dragons still nested beneath the dome. By night you could still see the glow of all the city, of all through the city. The dark green glows of wildfire. The color green still haunts me to this day. They say the spring was bad, in Lannisport, and worse in Old Town. But in King's Landing it cut down 4 of 10. Neither young nor old were spared, nor rich nor poor, nor great nor humble. Our good Septon was taken, the gods' own voice on earth, with 1/3 of the most devout, and near all our silent sisters. His Grace, King Darren, sweet Miteris, and bold Valar. Oh, the hand. Sweet Miteris. That's the sister? No, that's Baelor's son, right? Baelor's second son? So both of Baelor's sons died from the spring sickness? Dang. That sucks. So they were supposed to be next in line, though. That's actually crazy. That makes sense now. That sucks. That's sad. I hate that. I really like Baelor. Now we know why King Aerys is the king. Exactly. Interesting. Okay. Imagine Aerion becomes king. Oh, gosh. Um, in bold valor, the hand. Oh, it was a dreadful time. By the end, half the city was praying to the stranger. Yet another drink. And where were you, sir? In Dorne, said Dunk. Thank the mother for her mercy, then. The great spring sickness had never come to Dorne, perhaps because the Dornish had closed their borders and their ports, as had the Arryns of the Vale, who had also been spared. All this talk of death is enough to put a man off wine, but cheer is hard to come by in such times as we are living. The drought endures for all our prayers. The Kingswood is one great tinderbox, and fires rage there in the night and day. Bittersteel and the sons of Daemon Blackfire are hatching plots in Tyrush, and Dagon Greyjoy's krakens prowl the sunset like sea wolves, raiding as far south as the Arbor. They carried off half the wealth of the Fair Isle, it is said, and 100 women too. Lord Farman is repairing his defenses, though that strikes me akin to a man who claps his pregnant daughter in a chastity belt when her belly's big as mine. Lord Bracken is dying slowly on the Trident. And his eldest son perished in the spring. That means Sir Otto must succeed. Otto Blackwood. The Blackwoods will never stomach the brute of Bracken as a neighbor. It will mean war. Dunk knew about the ancient enmity between the Blackwoods and the Brackens. Won't their liege lord force a peace? Alas, said Septon Sefton. Lord Tully is a boy of 8. Oh, interesting. Surrounded by women. River Run will do little, and King Aerys will do less. Unless some maester writes a book about it. The whole matter may escape his royal notice. Lord Rivers is not likely to let any Brackens in to see him. Pray recall, our hand was born half Blackwood. If he acts at all, it will be only to help his cousins bring the brute to bay. The mother marked Lord Rivers on the day he was born, and Bittersteel marked him once again upon the red grass field. Dunk knew he meant Bloodraven. Brynden Rivers was the hand's true name. His mother had been a Blackwood, his father King Aegon IV. I got a fly flying around me right now. The fat man drank his wine and rattled on. As for Aerys, his grace cares more for old scrolls and dusty prophecies than for lords and laws. He will not even bestir himself to sire an heir. Queen Aelinor prays daily at the great sept, beseeching the mother above to bless her with a child, that she remains a maid. Aerys keeps his own apartments, and it is said that he would sooner take a book to bed than any woman. He filled his cup again. Make no mistake, 'tis Lord Rivers who rules us, with his spells and spies. There is no one to oppose him. Prince Maekar sulks at Summerhall, nursing his grievances about his royal brother. Prince Rhaegal is as meek as he is mad, and his children are, well, children. Friends and favorites of Lord Rivers fill every office. The lords of the small council lick his hand. And this new Grand Maester is as steeped in his sorcery as he is. The Red Keep is garrisoned by ravens' teeth, and no man sees the king without his leave. Dunk shifted uncomfortably in his seat. How many eyes does Lord Bloodraven have? 1,000 eyes in one. He hoped the king's hand did not have 1,000 ears in one as well. Some of what Septon Sefton was saying sounded treasonous. He glanced at Egg to see how he was taking all of this. The boy was struggling with all his might to hold his tongue. The Septon pushed himself to his feet. My good sister will be a while yet. As with all great ladies, the first 10 gowns she tries on will be found not to suit her mood. Will you take more wine? Without waiting for an answer, he refilled both cups. The lady I mistook, said Dunk, anxious to speak of something else. Is she your sister? We are all children of the Seven, sir. Apart from that, dear me, no. Lady Hellicent was a sister to Sir Roland Uffering, Lady Rohan's 4th husband, who died in the spring. My brother was his predecessor, Sir Simon Staunton, who had the great misfortune to choke upon a chicken bone. Cold modes crawls with revenants, it must be said. The husbands die, yet their kin remains. To drink my lady's wine and eat her sweetmeats, like a plague of plump pink locusts done up in silk and velvet. He wiped his mouth. And yet she must be wed again, and soon. Must? Said Dunk. Her lord father's will demands it. Lord Wyman granted grandsons to carry on his line. When he sickened, he tried to wed her to the Longinch, so he might die knowing that she had a strong man to protect her. But Rohan refused to have him. His lordship took his vengeance in his will. If she remains unwed on the second anniversary of her father's passing, Coldmoat and its lands and possessions pass to his cousin Wendell. Perhaps you glimpsed him in the yard. A short man with a goiter on his neck, much given to flatulence. Though it is small of me to say so, I am cursed with excess wind myself. Be that as it may, Sir Wendell is grasping and stupid, but his lady wife is Lord Rowan's sister, and damnably fertile. That cannot be denied. She whelps as often as he farts. Their sons are quite as bad as he is. Their daughters are worse, and all of them have begun to count the days. Lord Rowan has upheld the will, so her ladyship has only till the next new moon. Why has she waited so long? Dunk wondered aloud. The Septon shrugged. If truth be told, there has been dearth of suitors. My good sister is not hard to look upon. You will have noticed, and a stout castle and broad lands add to her charm. You would think that younger sons and landless knights would swarm about her ladyship like flies. You would be wrong. The 4 dead husbands make them wary, and there are those who will say that she is barren too, though never in her hearing, unless they yearn to see the inside of a crow cage. She has carried 2 children to term, a boy and a girl, but neither lived to see a name day. Those few who are not put off by talk of poisonings and sorcery want no part of the Longinch. Lord Wyman charged him on his deathbed to protect his daughter from unworthy suitors, which he has taken to mean all suitors. Any man who means to have her hand would need to face his sword first. As he finished his wine and set the cup aside. That is not to say there has been no one. Clayton Caswell and Simon Laygood have been the most persistent, though they seem more interested in her lands than in her person. Were I given to wagering, I should place my gold on Gerald Lannister. Yet he has to put an appearance. But they say he is golden-haired and quick of wit and more than 6 feet tall. And Lady Weber is much taken with his letters. The lady in question stood in the doorway beside a homely young maester with a great hooked nose. You would lose your wager, blood brother. Gerald will never willingly forsake the pleasures of Lannisport and the splendor of Casterly Rock for some little lordship. He has more influence on Lord Tybolt's brother and advisor than he could ever hope for. As my husband. As for the other, Sir Simon would need to sell off half my land to pay his debts, and Sir Clayton trembles like a leaf whenever Longinch deigns to look his way. Besides, he is prettier than I am, and you, Septon, have the biggest mouth in Westeros. A large belly requires a big mouth, said Septon Sefton, utterly unabashed. Else it soon becomes a small one. Are you the Red Widow? Egg asked, astonished. I am near as tall as you are. Another boy made the same observations not half a year ago. I sent him back to the rack to make him taller. When Lady Rohan settled onto the high seat on the dais, she pulled her braid forward over her left shoulder. It was so long that the end of it lay coiled in her lap, like a sleeping cat. Sir Duncan, I should not have teased you when you were trying so hard to be gracious. It was only that you blushed so red. Was there no girl to tease you in the village where you grew so tall? The village was King's Landing. He did not mention Flea Bottom. There were girls, but that sort of teasing went on in Flea Bottom sometimes involved cutting off a toe. I expect they were afraid to tease you, Lady Rohan stroked her braid. No doubt they are afraid of your size. Do not think ill of Lady Helleson, I pray. My good sister is a simple creature, but she has no harm in her. For all her piety, she should not dress herself without her septas. It was not her doing. The mistake was mine. You lie most gallantly. I know it was Sir Lucas. He is a man of cruel humors, and you offended him on sight. How? Dunk said, puzzled. I never did him any harm. She smiled, and that made him wish that she was plainer. I saw you standing with him. You're taller by a hand, or near enough. It was a long while since Sir Lucas met anyone he could not look down on. How old are you, sir? Near 20, if it please, milady. Dunk liked the ring of 20, though most like he was a year younger, maybe 2. No one knew for certain, least of all him. He must have had a mother and a father like everybody else, but he'd never known them, not even their names, and no one in Flea Bottom had ever cared much when he had been born, or to whom. Are you as strong as you appear? This is a really great section right now. I really like this. I remembered her been in a tear for some reason. Forgot she was older than Dunk. Yeah, it's really interesting. Because she's 25, he's about 20. They'd be cute together. I don't know if it's going to happen, but they'd be cute together. How strong do I, are you strong as you appear? How strong do I appear, milady? I'm strong enough to annoy Sir Lucas. He's my castellan, though, not by choice. Like Coldmoat, he is a legacy of my father. Did you come to knighthood on some battlefield, Sir Duncan? Your speech suggests that you were not born of noble blood, if you will forgive my saying so. I was born of gutter blood. A hedge knight named Sir Arlen of Pennytree took me on to squire for him when I was just a boy. He taught me chivalry and the arts of war. And this name Sir Arlen knighted you? And this same Sir Arlen knighted you? Dunk shuffled his feet. One of his boots was half unlaced, he saw. No one else was like to do it. Where is Sir Arlen now? He died. He raised his eyes. He could lace his boots up later. I buried him on the hillside. Did he fall valiantly in battle? There were rains, he caught a chill. Old men are frail, I know. I learned that from my second husband. I was 13 when we wed. He would have been 55 on the next name day. He had lived long enough to see it. When he was half a year in the ground, I gave him a little son, but the stranger came up for him as well. The stranger? Death? The Septon said his father wanted him beside him. What do you think, sir? Well, Dunk said hesitantly, that might be, milady. Nonsense, she said. The boy was born too weak. Such a tiny thing. He scarce had strength enough to nurse. Still, the gods gave his father 55 years. You would think they might have granted him more than 3 days to the son. You would. Dunk knew little and less about the gods. He went to the sept sometimes and prayed to the warrior to lend strength to his arms, but elsewise he let the 7 be. I am sorry your Sir Arlen died, she said, and sorrier still that you took service with Sir Eustace. All old men are not the same, Sir Duncan. You would not do well to go home to Pennytree. I have no home but where I swear my sword. Dunk had never seen Pennytree, and he couldn't say if it was in the reach. Swear it here, then. The times are uncertain. I have need of knights. You look as though you have a healthy appetite, Sir Duncan. How many chickens can you eat? At Coldmoat, you would have your fill of warm pink meat and sweet fruit tarts. Your squire looks in need of sustenance as well. He is so scrawny that all of his hair has fallen out. I'll have him share a cell with the other boys of his own age. He'll like that. My master-at-arms can train him in the arts of war. I train him, said Dunk defensively. And who else? Bennis, old Osgray, the chickens? There's been days when Dunk had set egg to chasing chickens. It helps make him quicker, he thought. But he knew that if he said that, she would laugh. She was distracting him, with her snub nose and her freckles. Dunk had to remind himself why Sir Eustace had sent him there. I sworn a sword to Lord Osgray, milady, he said, and that's the way it is. So be it, sir. Let us speak of less pleasant matters. Lady Rohan gave her braid a tug. We do not suffer attacks on Coldmoat or its people. So tell me, why should I not have you sewn in a sack? I came to parlay, he reminded her, and I have drunk your wine. The taste lingered in my mouth, rich and sweet. The taste lingered in his mouth, rich and sweet. So far it had not poisoned him. Perhaps it was the wine that made him bold. And you don't have a sack big enough for me. To his relief, Egg's jape made her smile. I have several that are big enough for Bennis, though. Maester Carrick says Wilmer's face was sliced open almost to the bone. Sir Bennis lost his temper with the man, my lady. Sir Eustace sent me here to pay the blood price. The blood price, she laughed. He is an old man, I know. But I had not realized that he was so old as that. Does he think we are living in the age of heroes, when a life's man was reckoned to be worth no more than a sack of silver? The digger was not killed, milady, Dunk reminded her. No one was killed that I saw. His face was cut, is all. The fingers danced idly along her braid. How much does Sir Eustace reckon Wilmer's cheek to be worth, pray? 1 silver stag, and 3 for you, milady. Sir Eustace said a niggard's price on my honor, though 3 silvers are better than 3 chickens. I grant you. He would do better to deliver Bennis up to me for chastisement. Would this involve that sack you mentioned? It might. She coiled her braid around one hand. Osgray can keep his silver. Only blood can pay for blood. Well, said Dunk, it may be as you say, milady, but why not send for that man Bennis Cut and ask him if he'd sooner have a silver stag or a Bennis in a sack? Oh, he'd pick the silver stag if he couldn't have both. I don't doubt that. It's not his choice to make. This is about the lion and the spider, not some peasant's cheek. It is Bennis I want, and Bennis I shall have. No one rides onto my lands, does harm to one of mine, and escapes to laugh about it. Your ladyship rode onto Standfast's land, and did harm to one of Sir Eustace's, Dunk said before he stopped to think about it. Did I? She tugged her braid again. If you mean the sheep stealer, the man was notorious. I had twice complained to Osgray, yet he did nothing. I do not ask thrice. The king's law grants me the power of pit and gallows. It was Egg who answered her. On your own lands, the boy insisted. The king's law gives lords the power of pit and gallows on their own lands. Clever boy, she said. If you know that much, you will also know that landed knights have no right to punish without their liege lord's leave. Sir Eustace holds Standfast of Lord Rowan's. Bennis broke the king's peace when he drew blood and must answer for it. She looked to Dunk. If Sir Eustace will deliver Bennis to me, I'll slit his nose, and that will be the end of it. If I must come and take him, I make no such promise. Interesting. She's definitely more experienced. Yeah, I don't think Duncan's a knight. I don't think he was actually knighted. I think Sir Arlen probably died before he actually knighted him. Because he is lying about it. I think that was kind of like, was that explicitly said in the first one, in the first short story? I think it was like very not underwritten, but I think it was like he always shuffled his feet about when he was talked about being a knight. Might have been. I don't think it was explicitly said in the first one, but that was like the heavy implication. All right, we got like 2 more pages before we reach our goal. Dunk had a sudden sick feeling in the pits of his stomach. I will tell him, but he won't give up, Sir Bennis, he hesitated. The dam was the cause of all the trouble. Yeah, there's lots of clues about it. If your ladyship would consent to take it down. Impossible, declared the young maester by Lady Rohan's side. Coldmoat supports 20 times as many small folk as Standfast. Her ladyship has fields of wheat and corn and barley, all dying from the drought. She has 6 orchards, apples and apricots, and 3 kinds of pears. She has cows about to calf, 500 heads of black-nosed sheep, and she breeds the finest horses in the reach. We have 12 mares about to foal. Sir Eustace has sheep too, Dunk said. He has melons in the field, beans and barley corn. And you were taking water for the moat, Egg said loudly. I was getting to the moat, Dunk thought. The moat is essential to Coldmoat's defenses, the maester insisted. Do you suggest that Lady Rohan leave herself open to attack in such uncertain times as these? Well, Dunk said slowly, a dry moat is still a moat, and Milady has strong walls with ample men to defend them. Sir Duncan, Lady Rohan said, I was 10 years old when the black dragon rose. I begged my father to not put himself at risk, or at least to leave my husband, who would protect me, if both my men were gone. So he took me up to the ramparts and pointed to Kolmot's strong points. Keep them strong, he said, and they will keep you safe. If you see to your defense, no man may do you harm. The first thing he pointed at was the moat. She stroked her cheek with the tail of her braid. My first husband perished on the red grass field. My father found me others, but the stranger took them too. I no longer trust in men, no matter how ample they may seem. I trust in stone and steel and water. I trust in moats, sir, and mine will not go dry. What your father said, that's well and good, said Dunk, but it doesn't give you the right to take Osgrey's water. She tugged her braid. I suppose Sir Eustace told you that the stream was his. For 1,000 years, said Dunk. It's named the Chequy water. That's plain. So it is. She tugged again. Once, twice, thrice. As the river is called the Mander, though the Manderlands were driven from its banks 1,000 years ago. Highgarden is still Highgarden, though the last gardener died in the field of fire. Casterly Rock teems with Lannisters, and nowhere a Casterly is to be found. The world changes, sir. This Chequy water rises in the Horseshoe Hills, which were wholly mine when I last looked. The water is mine as well. Maester Carrick, show him. The maester descended from his dais. He could not have been much older than Dunk, but in his grey robes and chain collar he had an air of somber wisdom that belied his years. In his hand was an old parchment. See for yourself, sir, he said as he unrolled it and offered it to Dunk. Dunk the Lunk, thick as a castle wall. He felt his cheeks reddening again. Gingerly he took the parchment from his maester and scowled at the writing. Not a word of it was intelligible to him, but he knew the wax seal beneath the ornate signature. The three-headed dragon of House Targaryen. The king's seal. He was looking at a royal decree of some sort. Dunk moved his head from side to side so they would think he was reading. There's a word here I can't make out, he muttered, after a moment. Egg, come here and have a look. You have sharper eyes than me. The boy darted to his side. Which word, sir? Dunk pointed. Oh, that one. Oh. Egg read quickly, and then raised his eyes to Dunk and gave a little nod. Cute. It is her stream. She has a paper. Dunk felt as though he'd been punched in the stomach. The king's own seal. There must be some mistake. The old man's sons died in service to the king. Why would his grace take his stream away? If King Darren had been a less forgiving man, he should have lost his head as well. For half a heartbeat, Dunk was lost. What do you mean? She means, said Maester Carrick, that Sir Eustace Osgrey is a rebel and a traitor. Sir Eustace chose the Black Dragon over the Red, in hopes that the Blackfire King might restore the lands and castles and that the Osgreys had lost them to the Targaryens, Lady Rohan said. Chiefly, he wanted Coldmoat. His sons paid for his treason with their life's blood, when he brought their bones home and delivered his daughter to the king's men for hostage. His wife threw herself from the top Standfast Tower. Did Sir Eustace tell you that? Her smile was sad. No, I did not think so. Dang! The Black Dragon. You swore your sword to a traitor, Lunk. You ate a traitor's bread and slept beneath a rebel's roof, milady, he said, groping. The Black Dragon, that was 15 years ago. This is now, and there's a drought. Even if he was a rebel once, Sir Eustace still needs water. The Redwood arose and smoothed her skirts. He had best pray for rain, then. That was when Dunk recalled Osgrey's parting words in the wood. If you will not grant him a share of the water for his own sake, do it for his sons. Do it for his son. His son? Adam. He served here as her father's page and squire. Lady Rohan's face was stone. Come closer. He did not know what else to do but to obey. The dais added a good foot to her height. Yet even so, Dunk towered over her. Kneel, she said. He did. The slap she gave him had all her strength behind it, and she was stronger than she looked. His cheek burned, and he could taste blood in his mouth from a broken lip, but she hadn't truly hurt him, For a moment, all Dunk could think of was grabbing her by that long red braid and pulling her across his lap to slap her arse, as he would a spoiled child. If I do, she'll scream though, and 20 knights will come bursting in to kill me. You dare appeal to me in Adam's name? Her nostrils flared. Remove yourself from Cold Moat, sir, at once. I never meant go, or I will find a sack large enough for you if I have to sew one up myself. Tell Sir Eustace to bring me Bennis of the Brown Shield by the morrow, else I will come for him myself with fire and sword. Do you understand me? Fire and sword. Septon Sefton took Dunk's arm and pulled him quickly from the room. Egg followed closely behind. That was most unwise, sir, the fat Septon whispered. He had led them to the stairs. Most unwise, to mention Adam Osgray. Sir Eustace told me that she was fond of the boy. Fond? The Septon huffed heavily. She loved the boy, and him her, and never went beyond a kiss or two, but it was Adam she wept for after the red grass field, not the husband she hardly knew. She blamed Sir Eustace for his death, and rightly so. The boy was 12. Ah. Dunk knew what it was to bear a wound. Whenever someone spoke of Ashford Meadow, he thought of the 3 good men who died to save his foot, and it never failed to hurt. Tell my lady that it was not my wish to hurt her. Beg her pardon. I shall do all I can, sir, said Septon Sefton. But tell Sir Eustace to bring Bennis, and quickly. Elsewise it will go hard on him. It will go very hard. Ah, man, that's kind of sad. All right, we reached our point. This is a good little story, too. I like these little novellas. They're kind of fun. All right, we got like 40 pages left before we finish it. I'll probably finish it sometime, probably not this weekend. This weekend's a bit busy. But I think I'll probably finish it sometime early next, maybe like a Monday or something. But I like this story. This is a good story so far. All right, everyone. I'm going to jump off. Thanks for joining. I really like doing these reads. These are fun. Just chilling, chatting about good books, hanging out with you guys. You guys enjoying a good read for Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. And then eventually we'll get to the series. We'll see. It'll be fun. All right, everyone. Have a great night or evening wherever you're at. Have a good morning. Wherever it is, have a good one wherever you're at. Later, guys. I'll see you soon.